I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737-777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 165. And today we're going to do an extension on the last episode, which we talked about goals and goal getting in episode 164. And today we're going to just do a little bit of a part two on goals. And for a couple of reasons, because, sometimes it's one of those subjects that people tend to glaze over when they hear it, like, oh, do we got to hear about goals again, right? But I just want to give some of my perspectives on it. Not that my perspective is right, but it's a perspective, right? And hey, who knows? It may be the one thing that you needed to hear that can help you toward your goals. And so the last episode we talked about, number one, having goals, and then number two, like having, we talked about the SMART goals and things of that nature. But today's episode, I just want to talk around the whole idea of goals. Um, Sometimes when you're going for a goal, if it's big enough, you may not always know how you're gonna get it done. And what I mean by that is, maybe you have a plan to get there, but maybe you're working that plan and it's just not quite working, right? Or you just you're not getting the traction that you want. But at least if you have a plan, right, and you're working it and you're going for it, here's what I found to happen: things will start to open up and line up for you, right? Because you're in pursuit of the goal and you don't know how it's going to happen, but you believe it's going to happen and you're doing the work for it to happen. And then things just start happening. You'll get phone calls out of nowhere. You'll get openings and you'll find moments and opportunities that come your way that you didn't even expect. And it's exactly what you need. Because listen, I'm gonna just say this for my folks out there who, have done some spiritual investing and things of that nature in yourself. That the father is not going to let his child want to accomplish something and not accomplish it, especially if it's in his will. If it's in his will, it's as good as done. Now we don't know when it's going to get done, but it's done because whatever he wants, he's going to get, right. And so, if he put a desire in your heart, it's because he wants it fulfilled. And if you come from it and you think of it in that perspective, I mean, it's not even so much about you at this point. It's about a bigger picture, because when you accomplish XYZ, you you may inspire somebody else to go do something, who may inspire someone else, who may be the one to change the world. And they say, hey, it was so and so who did it. They put the thought in my mind and I went out and thought that I could do it and I did it. Right. Or it's a ripple effect, right? It's so much bigger than what we're going to get from accomplishing the goal, right? But also, it's a good thing to let your children and your family see you have a goal and then go for it, and they can see what it takes. It's good for your peers or your cohorts to see you now before you blow up, right? So it's just so many different reasons why you want to just, number one, have goals and then go for it, because there's so many people around us who don't have a goal, and if they do have a goal, they're certainly not focused on it. Like, it's in the back of their head. It would be nice if it happened, but it's not an obsession. It's not a magnificent obsession, as Napoleon Hill said. It's not something that's on the top of mind, like we talked about writing it down every single day. It's not there yet. So the chances of it happening for many people is it's not, right? But it's like you start, you go, you stop, you start, you stop, you start, you stop, you start, you stop. And it's like people, they get inspiration, they get excited, and then they move, they work, they work, they work. And then something happens, and then it takes them in a spiral in the whole other direction. And now it's nothing more than a parked car, right? And then something happens and you start moving again. So that's where most people are. But if you are a cold freedom listener, that's not you, right? You are someone who stays consistent, persistent, and you are going to stay diligent to see it through to the end. And all I'm saying is things will start to open up for you, right? As I mentioned, I'm working on a goal myself that I'm really really excited about. I'll share more later once we accomplish it. But the exact thing I'm talking about happened to me. Like a call out the blue happened, and an opportunity opened up for me to do some things that can really help me move closer to that goal that I totally wasn't expecting, wasn't planning for, but I was just going for it. I was visualizing, I was imagining, I was thinking about it, I was affirming it, I was doing the work, believing for it, I was praying about it, I was doing all the things that I needed to do. And then this opened up. And so, and then when the opportunities come your way, you got to take it, right? You can't just let it go. I look at it as a gift from God when opportunities open up because it's almost like the Father saying, "Hey, I see you working. I see you trying. I see you giving the effort into it. Let me help you out a little bit. Boom, here, let me throw this bone your way, right? And then things can start to gel and things can flow in the direction that you need it to. So, you know, I talked about this on the last episode, but you may miss many of your goals, but as long as you're in pursuit of it, you get closer and closer and closer, and then eventually you hit it, and then you chase the next goal. And by the way, have goals in every area of your life because, like a wheel, it would be bad to have one wheel, a couple wheels that are on point, and then the other wheels are not. So that wheel ain't going nowhere because it's just it's not stable, right? It's just not stable at all. It's not a perfect wheel. Not that it has to be perfect, but at least it has to be uh, round enough to roll. And if some of the what I'm saying is imagine a wheel with spokes, and some of those spokes um, you haven't given enough attention to because you spent so much time on some of the other spokes that the wheel is now wobbly, is what I'm basically saying. So you want to really, give that some serious focus and attention. But again, with goals, um, you may not always know how you're going to get there, but as long as you have the belief, and to be honest with you, doing the mind stuff, I think is so critical. But I think so few people do it. I mean, yes, do all the actions and the activities, but do the mind stuff first. And if I were to take it to a spiritual perspective, it's nothing more than faith and works, faith and works, faith and works. The visualizing, the imagining, the seeing it as if it was already happening. That's the faith part. The the works part is the actual activity of engaging and doing whatever it is you need to do. Whether it's walking 30 minutes a day, running on a treadmill, lifting the weights, maybe doing counseling with your significant other, um, in your spiritual journey, maybe reading the Bible more or finding someone who you can do a Bible study with and talk about the Bible. Whatever it is your focus is, or whatever area you're working on, you always have faith and then the works. But just to break the faith part down a little bit, it's the imagination. Imagination mixed with vision equals reality. So when you can imagine a thing and then you have a vision about a thing, watch it come into fruition. Watch it happen so much faster because just like I told you guys the stories before of the people who would imagine things, the Olympic folks who would have monitors hooked up to them and they would run a race in their head and they start sweating and whatnot and the same muscles flare up because the body the mind doesn't know if it's real or not. It only knows what you feed it, you know? And so feed your mind the good stuff so that when you go do the activity, you can hit it with pinpoint accuracy as if it was like a deja vu, like, man, have I been here before? But yes, you have been there. You've been there in your mind, and now it's happening in reality. So, listen, folks, I appreciate you for listening to this episode once again, episode 165. And I cannot wait to see you on the next one for Code Freedom. Don't forget to check to tune in with us on our Code Freedom engagement group. You can check us out at thewaytofreedom.info. And listen, guys, we're going to have some incredible things coming your way. So stay tuned, listen in, keep listening, invite a friend, tag me on Instagram, and would love to give you a shout out. Appreciate you all. God bless. See you over the top. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.